Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to FM23 Newton Heath. This is episode number 4. After our start to the season, which was mixed, we got a result against a good team. And then we got blown out against a bad team. We're a team that is on the edge. When you start looking at scouting, we find players that are equivalent to guys on our team. And across the board, regional premier is where our team stands. So what we have right now, we've acquired players that are 7th tier. We're playing in the 6th. So the players that we've acquired so far, and again, this came down to that low reputation, that literally the lowest possible reputation that the club has, hurting our chances of getting players that actually are good enough to play in the 6th tier. So we have a 7th tier side playing in the 6th tier, and it's the best players we have are better 7th tier players. The rest are average 7th tier players. So essentially, we have an average 7th tier side playing 6th tier football. It is going to be a struggle. But we're going to have to keep looking for players as we go along. If we can get better 7th tier sides, knowing from past experience in this game, I think that is a team that can pull enough results. Anyway, as we head into our third match against Scarborough, Scarborough is a team that has struggled so far this season. They haven't had a win yet. We have 3 changes to the side, with Williams getting his first start at right back, Campbell getting his first start at the center attacking mid spot, and he was somebody I had picked, expected to be in that spot preseason, and then Gallimore, who I expected to be our starter on top, and had a wonderful preseason. Now he doesn't he doesn't fit the role terribly well, but he's a better player than he gets credit for, and he's quick. Only 2 sides have yet to score a point in the season so far. It's Kings Lynn, the team we beat in the opener. They lost their second game as well. And Scarborough. Can we keep that going? Can we extend that for another match? They've only played 2, folks. I mean, it's not like it's a lot. They could be one of the better teams in the league. I did not check where they were in the preseason rankings, but literally every team is better than us. So even the bottom end teams, as we've already seen with Kettering, they're a notch below. Like I said, we are an average 7th tier side competitively, as Williams makes a poor clearance there, but Tams on the second attempt does better. And again, Williams losing out, and again Williams, he's not working his man well at all, as eventually the ball gets to Guthrie, but that's Williams beaten 3-4 times back to back on that. That was not a good showing, and yet somehow he's got a 6.7 rating, as Glenn off to the races and somehow slots that into the corner. That looked like it was going well wide. I don't know how that kind of squeezed in, because the ball had no curve to it. It was a straight as an arrow on Mahoney winning that header. And then Glenn just making the run at the right time. And again, Williams involved on this one, as Williams was the one that played Glenn onside there. Now, he might have been onside from Lowy as well, but Williams definitely was the deepest and played him outside. Good clearance from Tams on that one. And we trail 1-0 here early in this one. Great ball over the top for Gallimore. And that's what Gallimore has done well. Gallimore doesn't always keep the ball terribly well. Ooh. Good recovery from Guthrie on that, as he was up a bit high. The ball didn't have too much juice on it, but still, that was a decent recovery pickup for Guthrie. So trailing 1-0, they already have 1 XG. They're right where they belong, and we've only had 2 shot attempts so far. It's been a rough first 45. Can we get to halftime with it still? No way is that a penalty. No way is that a penalty. That ball's going out. Guthrie's easily getting there first. And now we trail 2-0 with what looks like a terrible penalty call from my perspective, from my view, right in front of our fans, especially. No way, no how. That ball's way too long. It's heading out. Nobody's got a chance to play that thing. Guthrie, it's his ball or literally no one's ball, and one guy way behind is going to just throw himself on the turf and say, I've been held, and the ref's going to call that? I mean, come on. It's absurd. So now we're facing a 12th man with the referees. We have a hard enough time facing 11. We definitely can't play 12 on 11. And yeah, now we're going to head into halftime trailing by 2. Should have gotten there first. That should have been Midgley's ball. There goes Glenn again. 3-0. On to the next match. Final score was 6-1. We had a slightly better performance in the second half. They had far fewer shots. Unfortunately, the goals still went in fairly easily. They had 9 or 10 shots on target for the entire game and had 6 goals. XG-wise, they had 3. And you get automatically, I believe, a 0.8 when you stand on the penalty spot. So that was 0.8 of their XG right there when they only had just over 3. So less than 2.5 for the whole rest of the game and 5 goals to speak for it. We had better than 1 on our XG, and we did get a goal, and it was very much a deserved goal. It was a well-earned goal. But overall, really poor performance, and just goes to show how far we have yet to go. 3 matches in, the concerns are there and real. But if we can steal that occasional result like we did, it's got to be it's got to be more often than 1 out of 5 times. I mean, we're going to have to get close in on a point per match. You can see exactly where we're at right now. We have the worst goal differential, and that I fully expect. But if we can get 1 point per match, right now we're right on that break line. We're right on that bubble, and that's where we've got to be. So we've got to win 1 out of 3. However, we have played 2 road games, and we clearly were better at home. So just can we keep morale high enough when we're getting blown out on the road to get those occasional home results? A lot to ask for. I definitely still need some better players. So I've added a new signing that I'm excited because it's a real progression, and defense obviously has been our big concern here to start the season. Tams and Lowy, the 2 center backs, new guy and 33-year-old veteran player Adam Yates. The comparison is, astronomical difference. He's got similar speed to what they have. He's more effective on offense. He's equally effective aerially to really both players, but he's got a huge advantage to either of them, defending and mentally. So that is going to be a real asset to us. It gets us in the right direction for sure. I don't know quite how good he is, but I think theoretically we're going from an average 7th tier player to a better 7th tier player. Still not quite where we need to be to get guys competitive for our level, but it's those better 7th tier guys that can hang with the opposition quite a bit better. When I brought Yates in, I also let Giacomini go. Those 3 center mids that I had, I'm down to just 1 of them now. Potts, the last one. He's actually injured and probably won't last too long on the roster, as he doesn't have a position that fits our mold anyway, and where he was useful to us in the beginning of raising that bar of what we have quality player wise. Now he's just average on the roster, so his days are pretty numbered as well. But anyway, we've had kind of a difficult start to the season, obviously performance-wise, but more so schedule-wise. Kettering, yes, okay, that's one of the worst teams. But we played Scarborough 8th on the preseason prediction list. We played Kings Lynn 6th on the preseason prediction list. Next up, we play Kidderminster 7th. preseason prediction list. Now, here's one notable thing, and we're going to keep an eye on this: key players. I've learned how this key players system is broken down. The key players in the league are literally the 2 best players on each and every roster. And then they are ranked, with Sam Long of Boston United being the best player in the league. So where do your 2 players rank compared to the 2 best players on each and every roster? Well, you go down to the very bottom, and Lomas and Midgley are the very bottom. What to keep an eye on for us is the comparative nature of who else is at the bottom around us. And Blythe Spartans have 2 guys. I had a series a number of years ago that was a lower league manager, bottom to top regular standard save, and it started with Blythe Spartans climbing 3 or 4 tiers before then the next FM edition. We took a team from that tier that we'd climbed to and started going, and eventually with Swansea in the championship before we then started doing Youth Factory the last couple of years. But Blythe Spartans look like the team that is down there with us, a team that can be beat. Leamington, a team that looks like they could be beat. Farsley have 1 player down, but they do have 1 player quite a bit higher up. Scales is a decent player. But there's Kettering, who we've already played, and Kettering we made our comparisons with earlier in the season. And there's Cameron Gregory. That was who we had compared. Now, I don't have attribute masking with him because I scouted him intentionally for the sake of comparison. And it turns out that Gregory is actually the best player on their roster. So now we have at least some sort of baseline and some sort of idea of where we stand when it comes to Gregory. He's the best player on their team. And their second best player is just, that hair notch below him. But what we are looking for is that time where we begin to see somebody. It's not going to be Lomas or Midgley, but we see somebody join the team that raises the bar enough that we get off the bottom of this list. And that's the time where we're going to start to be a bit more comfortable as a mid-table type team. It's not that hard in Football Manager if you've played it enough to punch above your weight and do better tactically than, those on your level. It's a different matter, though, when you are so far below the level. So we've just got to close that gap. If we can get just above Blythe, we're a mid-table team. But right now, each and every point we get is going to be a bit of a miracle. And as the season goes on, let's just hope that we find bigger and better players and get closer and closer on that gap. Because, right now, there is a lot to do still. Next up, Kidderminster. It's at home. It's a chance. But it's going to take another big-time performance because they are a top-half team. I would say from about Peterborough up, the 18-1 odds, looks like the top 15 teams are pretty good, pretty competitive. And, well, really it's just us that they hate. The sellout is on. The home crowd fever. Can it inspire the team to a result? Can we keep morale high, even if it's a draw? Against an opponent like this, I think a draw would be a big accomplishment. We don't have all those extra kind of bonuses we had in that first match where it's first ever game. All those players getting that first appearance, a lot of excitement at home in front of a giant crowd. That big combination. You start settling into the season. You've taken on a few big losses. You're not feeling as good, as confident as Byrne. That's close. Guthrie, big save. You're going to need a big day from Guthrie again, and that's rough. But Reese, great one there. Where's he offside from? He's coming from way behind. Through 3 defenders on his way towards getting to that ball first. How in the world? Oh my gosh. That was really poor communication. Guthrie, that's his ball all the way, and he does not communicate well enough to call off his man And Lowy or Yates, whichever what it was, Yates getting his first start here, straight into the side. Whichever one it was, tries to clear it. Oh, Guthrie, what the hell are you doing, buddy? Offside was calling that one, but oh my goodness. 0.5 on their XG already, but a lot of that coming to that wide open goal. Great block from the defense. Great block, great leg stuck out there from Guthrie to get a piece of that one, and then we get a little help from the rest of the team to get that cleared away. Reese retreats well, lays that off well. Good hold-up play. Brown keeps possession well on that pressure. Reese cannot get that one first, though. Not sure where he's trying to go with the standing header. Taking it like a shot. Secondary pass, totally fine. First pass, is it just me or was there an offside play there? No, he's good. He's good. Plays that off his back. Midgley tries desperately to get a foot in and can't knock it away. Good goal. Deserved goal. XG wise, they're at 1.5. That was coming. We haven't had a shot yet. And that's the thing, we just can't control the ball well enough. We're getting half the possession, and we can get the ball into the final third, but we just cannot get the ball into Reese. We're going to try something, complete forward, not happening. We might as well at this point, considering we have 0 shots. Let's not just stay true to something that's not working. Be bold, try something different. So tactically, what is better for Reese? Well, obviously Poacher. But let's try the advanced forward and see how that plays. Will he have a better performance in the second half? I think Yates might be a better option as a ball-playing defender. He is. He's not as good at it. What about Lowy? Is he better as a central? He is much better as a central defender. So let's swap these two. Yeah, see, we're going from a 3 and a 2 to a 3 and a 2.5. We're gaining half a star in terms of what would be expected of these guys. Adam Yates is actually anxious. First game jitters, I suppose, even though he's a better player and inexperienced player at his age. He's still a bit nervous for his first game. I wonder if Holmes and Kemp might be better swapped as well. They're the same, but Kemp's a more defensive-minded guy than Holmes, so we'll try that out. It's worth a shot. It's worth a shot. Time to experiment. I'd go positive, and I think we're going to have to. We're going to have to if we're going to get back in this. I don't care about goal differential at all. That is not our aim for this season. If we give up goals, we give up goals. We have got to try to get points, which means getting back into this thing. So it's not about stopping the bleeding. It's about being aggressive, getting after it. Lowy is pretty tired. He's not going to last long into the second half. By the way, firing up the team is not my strong suit. Remember, we started with a coach who is utterly garbage. I don't think I've shown you the profile. Again, Reese called offside when he is coming from a position that's about 8 yards onside. That's the second time he's been called for that, and that's a little frustrating. An hour in, 15 minutes into the second half, we've got a corner kick. Things seem to be looking a little bit better on the performance here, but Brown, off to the races, definitely beats us to that ball, and 1 on 4, he nearly scores. 1 on 5 if you count the goalkeeper. That one's cleared away, but job not done yet. We've got some work to do, and that's in the box, and woof, Guthrie slaps that one away, and gets a little help on the clearance. Nicholson on a yellow, Yates on a yellow, Lomas on a yellow. But that's that sign of coming out a little more aggressive here in the second half, I would think. Nice play from Harrison there, but Reese cannot keep possession. Yates, good header over to Midgley. Not great possession and eventually settling for the long ball, but Brown comes in, plays well, finds a little space, but lays it off. Gets it back. Great turn there, and Lomas needs to do better, though I think the keeper probably is going to have that one covered. That was our first attempt of the entire match. Took us 70 minutes to get a shot attempt. Great through ball for Brown. What can he do with it? He sets up Kemp. Kemp inside. Lomas. Oh, that deflection looked like it was going into the upper left corner. I thought we had an equalizer there. We got a very tired side. That one off the post. Guthrie needs to palm that thing out of bounds for the corner kick. Dangerous free kick here, obviously, positionally. Knight Percival should have tapped it. Should have had that on target in the first place, but Guthrie needs to palm that away. That's his responsibility. He needs to win that ball, and he doesn't. And now it's 2-0, and now there's no chance. Let's get a sub in for Lowy. That's Tetlow. We don't have anything for Nicholson. We don't have a right back on our bench. Though I think Yates can play out there, but Tetlow just came in, so hands kind of tied on that one. And these two are struggling, so let's get them off. It was a better second half from the team. We have seen more from them. Fremantle was offside there. We kept getting called for offside when we were nowhere near it. And that was offside and didn't get called. Tetlow wins that header. Campbell, nice job retreating there. Sets up Wilkinson. Oh, come on, dude. We need that Gilmore speed. That's what Gilmore does. He doesn't have much else, but he's got that next gear that these guys... They have good speed. He just has better speed. That was close. I think he was just about onside there. And again, stoppage time makes a game that's... Ooh, you know what? That was closer than I thought to being offside. That was either really, really tight or he was off. But here we are again with a difficult first half that could have been a lot worse than being a goal down. A much better second half where we've been unlucky to give up 2 goals. We've been unlucky not to get something going. I mean, we went from absolutely nothing to, hey, we got back in this game, right? We got positive. We made some changes that actually did work for us. But then, questionable. I'm not saying it was offside. It was really tight. But it just about looked offside. XG-wise, we got 3.5, folks. I mean, 3 goals is about right. And I'd be happy if we got a goal per game, and we're not getting that right now. We're not getting that. We are not getting enough chances. But our best performer was Adam Yates, despite what we did give up. So at least there's that. New faces, ready to step up. We need some more. We got to keep going. Okay, well, the bleeding is starting. We are definitely starting to bleed. Come on. They want to be told. They want to be told they suck. I don't want to tell them that very often. The bleeding is beginning. We got 3 points right out the box, but we have been blown out pretty bad in our last 3. But 3 out of those 4 opponents have been top half opponents. Even if Kidderminster, even if that was only their second win through 4 played, we don't know who they played in the first 3. They might have had a very, very hard schedule themselves. They might have had a few road games. We've now had 2 home, 2 away. It definitely seems like we're better at home than on the road, and it showed today. It was a tough opponent. We were a lot more in the game, just not getting chances, but defensively, that last goal was harsh. We gave up a couple. Yeah, it's going to be tough. But we'll see what we can do. We got to just keep on keeping on and try to survive. it's far from done yet. We're not at the bottom of the league, at least. And, one win would see us mid-table. There's plenty of hope still. A lot of work to do. I'm a Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.